Hey T. Well, as you guys might be able to see, we've got our lamination station back in action. So, we had all this cleared down, right T?
Yeah, we did. But
Yep.
We needed it again.
I guess it was a little bit of a premature celebration. Set it back up again. It didn't take long.
We slimmed it down. We didn't put the insulation back.
Yeah, we didn't bother putting insulation back up in there or anything. This plastic up here is just to keep the aluminum shelter deck from sweating and dripping all over, which it actually was this morning. What we've got here is a little jig setup. Not really jig, more of a, I guess, a form. What we're gonna do is lay fiberglass over these chunks of aluminum hole stiffener, and we're gonna lay it up probably a 1/4 inch thick, which was pretty much what we've been laying up all of our panels in, thickness wise. And what that is gonna do is create fiberglass deck stringers, which we'll then use to mount our decking onto. Here's our aluminum hole stiffener, I guess it's called. Got coated with a layer of PVA. Actually, with this one, I waxed it first with some mold release and then coated it with PVA. And we've already done quite a few of these stringers already, and they pop off just fine. So we're using 2 layers of CSM and then 5 layers of 1708 biaxial fiberglass, and that's ending up with about a 1/4 inch layup each one of these stringers. And we did do a flex test on it over there, and it does flex a little bit, maybe like I don't know, 1/2 inch or so, but that's over a, I want to say about a 3.5 foot span, so that's not very much at all. So we're very happy with the strength of it, and they're coming together pretty quick. Turns out we can use this stick in particular for 2. It's long enough for the ones up by the hatch covers. So we're doing about 4 stringers a day. So yeah, it's coming together. Got about, I guess we're 11 done so far, and 30, 35 maybe total. We're not sure yet, but yeah, it's coming together. So about to get rolling on this one. Each one takes about 45 minutes to 50 minutes or an hour to lay up. So we'll get rolling here.
You might see something off in the distance, a different color.
Something very nice looking. Let's go check
Yeah.
it out. So, I guess probably last time I brought you guys in, I was working on those fiberglass stringers you can just barely see right now.
Yeah, Matt and Tristan have been hard at our fiberglass stringers. This is the alternative we chose instead of using, say like aluminum angle or stainless angle or just wood. These are all trimmed up and prettied up now. Very nice. They're rigid. They do have some deflection, but by the time they're braced up, there won't be a whole lot. If you put it here, for example, that's nearly a 4-foot span, I guess, and that's not a whole lot of deflection for that. So by the time these ones here will probably, I think, just have 3 supports, but then these are going to be spaced probably about 16, 18 inches on center, somewhere right in there. So by the time we put all our little stanchions underneath this, they're going to be very, very solid, very rigid. Mm-hmm. So these worked out really good. The layup's been relatively quick for these guys.
Yeah, it's about, well, I guess about an hour per stick. So
yeah, and that's with cutting the cloth and laminating it.
Yeah, all the prep and everything. So
probably
not too bad.
Probably took me 5 or 10 minutes to trim one of these up. Probably about 10 minutes on one of these little ones. Mm-hmm. Not very long. Pretty much just trimming off the end where the mold ended, or the form, I guess. It'd be a form. I guess it'd be a form. Yeah, just trimming it right there, and then just a quick round off with the grinding disc or sanding disc, and trimmed up the ends.
Yeah,
really easy. These don't have to be super perfect or anything. They actually came out really, really nice. Mm-hmm. We will plan on gel coating these, I think, just to protect them. But yeah, this is kind of the sneak peek of what we got going on here.
Yeah, so we haven't really captured much of the trimming yet. There's plenty to go, of course. Yeah, this is the start of it. This is the start of the fall stack. You can kind of see, I'll get you guys down low here, what kind of slope we're talking about on the deck there. So walking on that kind of slope when it's icy or snowing out or anything like that can be quite hazardous. So
yeah,
it'll be
even just dry with dust on it, fiberglass dust or anything, it's slippery. Mm-hmm, it is. And it's a bad feeling because it's going towards the edge too. So yeah, these will be very, very nice. These will have one more support in the middle, so they're saggy right there, but and this is just on a couple of blocks. Nothing's even attached, nothing's screwed down or bolted down. Mm-hmm. It'll all pull together really solid. So, pretty happy with that. Yeah, so these are just some thinner 1x5s. It's 5.4 by 6 is what it is. The actual dimension I think is only 1 inch. Maybe it's 1.25 inches. I haven't measured it. The reason we went with these is because in the back we plan on raising it up a little bit at some point, and that's how we were going to blend the back part with the forward part. The main traffic area, the main working area will be 2x6, which is 1.5 inches by 5.5. Yeah, here's I guess side by side. There's the skinnier stuff, and there's the thicker stuff. So yeah, so all of this stuff will be in this area right here. It'll start there. It'll extend back to just beyond here. 12-foot stick. We won't, other than just trimming a little bit off the end, maybe. It's not going to get cut up, so they'll just be full-length pieces right in here. And not a lot of traffic up there as far as, you know, heavy weight on the boat or anything in that area, so it's not so critical. In the back where we transition back to the skinnier stuff, we'll just put in a few more stringers if we need to tighten them up a little bit. But it actually feels pretty good, so we're happy with it. We had also planned on putting this over the top of this hatch too, so that was another reason for thinner material there, is that we just keep the heights down. So yeah, this stuff is called lumber rock. It's a little bit different than some of your other recycled plastic. decking products. Instead of using sawdust as a filler, it's a mineral that they use as a filler, so it's supposed to be rot proof, moisture proof, doesn't mold, doesn't mildew, won't absorb moisture. So we're excited to use it. We're not endorsed or affiliated or anything like that. The stuff is great to work with. You know, just whack it with the compound miter saw right there. It cuts super easy. It machines beautifully to router it, to countersink the holes. All the bolts that go through will be countersunk in here, so you're not, you know, we'll be sliding crab pots and stuff across this deck, and fish and everything else.
Yeah.
And we don't want a raised bolt, because what happens is you hit them with stuff and then they get bent and they start to damage everything.
Yeah, and it's just a complete hazard, tripping hazard.
Yeah, you can't shovel it off.
Deck. Yeah, can't shovel it.
So we'll be using just a regular cap screw, probably a 5/16, and it'll extend through and bolt in. 2 bolts on every stringer. So there's going to be like 1,000 pieces of hardware on here when we're done. And to retain them underneath, we'll just use a nut and a washer. And we'll do that all the way across except for one board. We'll get a stainless strip underneath here that has a single machine screw to hold the stainless plate in place. And then it'll be tapped for those bolts. And that'll allow us to remove that one, and then we can remove all the other boards. But when we're installing, we'll install all of them with nuts and washers underneath, and then the last one we'll just get running with into that stainless plate that's tapped. And that's kind of the trick.
Yep.
That we'll be using.
In the case we ever need to pull the boards off, we have an access point.
Yep. And so that'll kind of be like the king board, I guess you might call it.
King plank.
King plank. There it is.
Yep.
And then for stanchions, I've been cutting and drilling. Got a little piece of pipe right there, T. That little piece of 1.5 inch, yep. So these will be our stanchions right here. Every single one is gonna have to be fit because of the weird angles and everything and heights and whatnot involved, but basically this is what it's gonna look like right there. And same thing, these are lined up with the holes on the deck board, and they'll be lined up with the holes on the fiberglass stringers, and these will just get a slightly longer bolt to go through, and it'll just be attached with a nut and washer on the bottom. Just gonna come through the center with a leg screw down, and then this will be opened up. I think I had one, but I'm not sure where it is. Oh, it's right there. Yeah. So all of these will be opened up, and so we'll weld it out around here, weld it to there, and then we'll just drop our leg bolt right through there, and that's big enough for a socket to fit through, and we'll run that down into the deck with the intention of hitting most of the deck beams in here. They are spaced pretty close together, so hopefully we get the majority of them. I know, like next to the raised hatch right there and everything, there's deck boards, so that'll be good. And that should be plenty robust for this.
Yeah, and
there's going to be a lot of these.
We'll have a nice healthy dollop of 5200 under each pad.
Yeah.
To seal it off. So.
Yep. So that's kind of the plan there. That seemed like the best way to attach these. This was just some leftover material we had, a piece of 1/4 by 3 inch flat bar, and just chunked it up into squares. This stuff was cheap. A 12-foot stick was $30, and we got a whole bunch of pipe left over from the handrails on here, and also some old handrails off the fishtail. So we'll just grab all that stuff and use it again.
Yeah, it's all just gonna be sacrificial anyway. So
yeah, and it's scrap that's just been in our boneyard for years now, anyways. So we can kind of make use of some of that material. So yeah, that's where we're at. Super excited about this.
Yeah, it sure looks
It'll be
good.
nice to be able to walk along this deck and not feel like you're constantly trying to tip out and over. These hatches will be flush when we're done. So I know that was some concern of people, is tripping over these hatches. It's actually a really normal thing on boats, especially the size and seiners, is to have a raised coaming, a raised hatch like that. We designed the fishtail when we did those fish holds to eliminate that, but it actually had a raised hatch at one time too, just like these. So that's pretty normal thing. But if you can go with a flush deck, so much better.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just so much nicer to work on. So yeah, today's task was kind of decluttering and getting some stuff moved around, starting to fit in these pieces, and then the biggest thing was getting some reference points lined up, some strings. So a little bit hard to see. That's kind of our tripwires right now, but we measured down the outside of the hull to get to these 2 marks here, and made them equidistant on both sides, and then we came up off our rub rail to get the height. And we did it that way is because this deck is anything but level. I don't even know what was going on when the guys built this stuff, but I mean, one side is a 1/2 inch higher in one place, 1.5 inches higher in another. So we knew that if we went off this deck, it would be reflected in our false deck, and we didn't really want that. So we went off the rub rail because that came out of a mold and they should be similar on both sides. Measured up the outside and marked it, and then we just poked a hole through with the drill. No big deal, we'll fill it when we're done. And now we can stretch a line across that, and that's what we'll measure down off of when we set our stringers in place, and then we know that everything is flat in relation to the outside of the boat. And we did the same back here. Can't really see it, but there is a line right here too. And there is quite a variance in the deck over up forward in a couple of spots. It's well over, it's close to 1 inch. So I'm glad we took the time to do it.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. Like you say, it'll reflect much better.
Yeah, you'd see it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Especially because I guess we haven't talked about it yet, but we're gonna put bulwarks, raised bulwarks on this boat. Mm-hmm. Some of you may have already noticed that the cap rails are all gone now.
Yep.
All the way around. We're gonna start working on that too.
Pretty similar to most boats that do that. Kind of the same thing as the fishtail, just aluminum bulwarks. You bolt them into the fiberglass, you lift up your rail.
Yep.
So
I guess the big reason for that too right now is with this false deck back here, especially. You can see right here where the top of these boards are is where the level will be.
It'll be pretty close to that, yeah.
So that's
right in there somewhere.
That's the amount of bulwark we'd have if we don't do raised bulwarks. So, and you can kind of see this squiggly line there. That's not a final thing by any means, but it's kind of like just the idea of where we'd like to, the range we'd like to end in. So.
Yeah, that'll be the approximation of the raised bulwarks and the new rail.
Yep.
And so that'll probably address a lot of people's concern that now all of a sudden you don't have any bulwarks, you don't have any rail or anything. It'll be done.
Yep.
And all built in and super nice and user friendly. It's gonna just complement all our fisheries as far as the setup and the design that we have in mind. So that'll be very nice to have too.
Yep, looking forward to that project.
So
yeah, that's our big updates for now, I guess.
Yep. Got a little bit of work to do on our hatch right here. That's why it's upside down. Just put the last of the reinforcement in it. So we need to put some cross pieces here. We flipped it over to kind of keep it clean. It doesn't look very clean, but it's not full of fiberglass right now because I just junked out the fish hold the last couple days trimming these stringers, and it's an absolute bomb down there. I didn't want all that fiberglass getting up here in all these nooks and crannies where I'm going to be welding and have to smell that stuff burning off. So that's why that's upside down. Yeah, so
Yeah, big projects going on. We're grinding away.
Yeah. Yep. Few more cans of worms, but these are good cans of worms.
Yeah.
These are necessary, and to have a nice fall stack like this is going to be so nice to be able to work on.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's where we're at now. I think we're right to the point now that we can start salvaging some of our rail out there and cutting some chunks out of it and start to build some stanchions to bolt all this stuff down to.
Yeah. So I guess that's next.
That is kind of next, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're right there. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, really happy with these stringers. Yeah, Matt and Tristan just been banging those things out, and the quality is just there. Super easy to demold.
Yeah, I'll have to share with you guys on our next set here. I haven't so far, but yeah, it's pretty satisfying. I think you'll like it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was kind of one of those unknowns on the first one. I hope this comes out of here okay. Yeah, so, well, we'll bring you guys back, and we got a little more progress to show you here. Right now it's just a lot of kind of finicky, slow, fiddling around work, getting things lined up. These little stanchions are going to take a little bit of time.
For sure.
You get the generator fired up and get the welder fired up and get into it.